Well, happy Memorial Day if you're in the States. If you're not in the States, well, happy Monday. It's a beautiful day. It's a great way to start the week, obviously. So last week, I had the fortunate opportunity to have been a race car driver, literally for a day, out on Mosport, which is about 20 minutes away from my house. Close to, actually, it's in Bowmanville, Ontario. And it's if you're into racing, if you're into fast cars, you'll probably know of it. If you're not into this stuff, don't worry, I'm not going to be talking about race car driving. I have some really important lessons. What I'm going to share with you in this video are 3 important lessons that I learned while driving on the race course. And these are lessons that you can apply actually to your health and fitness goals. So that's why I wanted to take that experience and kind of extrapolate some really cool insights and to help you get your week started on the right foot. So again, it was at Mosport, and Mosport is the fastest racetrack in North America. It was previously an F1 or a Grand Prix racetrack back in the 70s, and they stopped using it for the F1 because it became too dangerous at those high speeds. So it was really cool. As I actually have included a video, just a brief kind of some snippets from the day if you want to watch the video. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long. You can watch the video below this one to see some of the cool shenanigans that we got up to. So anyways, it was a day that was put on. BMW invites their customers out to drive their road car on the racetrack. And for me, that was a dream because I love driving. I love driving fast cars. Not that I'm crazy about it, but you know, it's nice to be able to see what your car is able to do and see what you're able to do as a driver. So I want to share 3 really important lessons with you that that I think will really make a difference this week for you, as well as moving forward. So keep these in mind. And one of the things I encourage you to do in life in general is whatever experience you go through is take lessons, take insights from those lessons, and say to yourself, what did I learn here? How can I apply this to other areas of my life? And I'm always doing that with these different experiences. So even if racing has nothing to do with fitness and health, there's some really cool stuff that I'm going to share with you. So the first thing I want to share with you is focus. Okay? So here's why focus is important with race car driving, and then I'll show you why it's important, obviously, with everything else. So I got up to speeds of about 205 kilometers per hour with my car, which was amazing. And even considering that, there were still other cars that were flying by me. So, to give you an idea of how fast some of these cars were going. Now, the course is very fast, but there's also some turns that are pretty dangerous. And in fact, one of the organizers of the event drove his car into a wall. So like his car was totaled. Thankfully, he was okay. And I'll talk about that in the next point. But focus is really important. For instance, thankfully, it was my first time on a racetrack, so they put an instructor in the car with you, and that's a great thing, because even though I think I'm a great driver, when you get out on the racetrack and you're really pushing the car, it's nice to have someone to show you the way. So there's one corner, a hairpin turn on the track, where as you approach it, most of the corners you could take anywhere from about 100 to 140 kilometers an hour. But this hairpin turn, obviously, you're dropping it right down into 3rd gear, maybe going around at 40 kilometers an hour, and literally turning back the opposite way. So with this turn, as an example, what my instructor was telling me to do is, and this is uphill, so you're approaching the apex of the turn uphill, and as you approach the apex of the turn, the instructor is telling me, okay, well, as you get there, start to brake and look over your shoulder to where you want to end up, okay? Because what's happening here is, as I'm going uphill, beyond this apex of the turn is a wall in about 15 feet. So I'm thinking, well, if I don't look at the wall, I'm going to hit it. But the idea here is that you need to focus on where you want to go. So obviously they kept ingraining that into my mind, into all of our minds really. So as we're going up this turn, I know that, okay, it's coming to an end. I start applying the brakes, but I'm also looking over my shoulder and inevitably turning the car to where I want to get to. So focus on where you want to go. And the same thing with all the turns and really all the aspects of the course is they're always telling us vision must be in the distance, okay? Always looking for where you want to go. So you're not looking right in front of the hood of the car, you're looking literally into the horizon. So on the straightaway, as far out as you can look. On the turns, as far out as you can look. And don't move the car until you can turn, or until you see where you want to go. And I thought that was a great lesson, because in life, it's all about focus, right? We are focus finding machines, if you want to call it that. We are driven by focus or by goals, by vision, and if you don't have a specific focus, you're lost. You go through your days and it's just really mundane. And I know you've experienced it. I've experienced this on a daily basis. For me, it's something as simple as the night before, I sit down and write down what I want to accomplish and experience tomorrow. As simple as doing that makes the biggest difference the next day, because I don't have to wake up and think about, okay, what am I going to do today? What do I want to achieve? What do I want to experience? That's all been taken care of, so I know exactly what I need to focus on. So taking the time for yourself to really focus on what you want to achieve is so important. Whether it's sitting down once a week or on a daily basis or reviewing your stuff once a month, whatever it might be, you need to always be focused on your goal. When you do that, your energy just naturally increases because you know you're on the path, right? You know that you're working towards something, and it makes all the difference. If you're not focused, you end up hitting walls, pretty much, okay? You don't achieve your goals, and in fact, you don't even remember your goals. I remember working with a client once that refused to write down her goals. And I believe, she never, kind of disclosed this, I believe that she was scared of not reaching those goals, and therefore by not writing them down, then she always had a way to back out of them, right? So remember, focus is very important. A very simple way to focus is just define what you want to achieve, right? Write it down and just have it in front of you. You can put it into a collage, kind of a vision board type of thing, so that you know with 100% certainty that you will achieve that goal, okay? Always focus on where you want to go, not what you don't want, okay? Don't focus on, oh my God, the wall's here. Focus on, that's where I need to end up, around the corner, on the straightaway, all right? So the second lesson I want to share with you is about knowing your limits. Now, with a street car, actually with any kind of car, I believe I'm a good driver. I know I'm a good driver. All right, and I'm sure everyone says that. We're all biased and very, it's a very interesting thing about human nature. We all think we're better than we are, I think. But with driving especially, there are some really bad drivers, and I'm sure you've experienced these people as well. Obviously, if you live in Germany, you're on the better side. People know how to drive over there. But for the most part in North America, there's some really, really bad drivers. But aside from that, most people, I think, don't know their limits with respect to their cars and with respect to their bodies. So on the racetrack, one of the great things about going on a racetrack with your own car is that you're able to push your car to its limits. And that's a very good thing as long as you're in control, because you get to know what those cars' limits are. And you get to know what your limits are as a driver, how confident you are, how comfortable you are, how you can react to different situations. And that's a very, very good exercise. When I'm going 205 kilometers an hour down the straightaway, that's quite a bit faster than when I'm driving 130, maybe 140 on the highway. And that's still fast. I'm still going to get a speeding ticket at those levels, but pretty much, most people drive at those speeds. So, and again, kilometers an hour, not miles per hour. Big difference. So anyways, driving at 205 kilometers an hour and then knowing what to do as you approach a turn, and understanding that you don't always have to brake. Like, you can take turns at 120, 140 kilometers, but again, that comes with knowing your limits, knowing your car's limits. And that's a really important exercise to go through because, just as from a driving experience, you become a better driver, you're faster laps, all that. It's a better, just a better experience altogether. Now, the same thing with your body. I find a lot of people are scared to test their limits. They're scared to get out of their comfort zone. They're scared to get their sweat on. They're scared to get that feeling of, oh my God, I don't know if I can do an extra rep. If you don't push your limits, again, you don't have to do this on a daily basis, but if you don't know what your limits are, how will you know what you're able to achieve, right? You need to be able to extend yourself, like with a rubber band. If a rubber band, if you don't pull it to its full, almost snapping potential, how far is it able to extend? How far is it able to stretch? You don't know. And that's the same thing with you. You need to stretch your limits. You need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to test yourself with your workouts. You need to try a one-day fast and see if you'll survive, right? These are like kind of knowing your limits. And in all cases, you will survive. And the cool thing is that on the other side of that, after having gone through that experience, there's a lot of really interesting lessons you get out of that. For instance, if you do a 1-day intermittent fast, you look back on it and you say to yourself, wow, I did that. I went a full day without food, and I actually feel really good. So now you've gone through that, you know what it feels like, and you have the competency and the confidence to be able to do it again. And even if you don't, knowing full well that you can go several hours without eating and you'll still be okay. Same thing with your workouts. A lot of times, and this is where it really makes a difference to work with a trainer or a virtual trainer like myself in some cases, where you have somebody to push you out of your comfort zone, to push you to your own limits, which you don't even know of, right? Getting you to do a couple more reps, getting you to work for 30 more seconds when all you want to do is give up, right? It's that small margin of difference where you're getting out of what you're used to and getting into new areas that you've never explored is where all change occurs. Okay, so know your limits, test your limits, try something, just commit to pushing yourself a little bit more, and then see what you're capable of, and then knowing that you can feel safer about, okay, you know what, I've gone there, I know I can do this, right? So that's really important, knowing and testing your limits and using that as a benchmark. And then as you get fitter and more comfortable, then you just keep raising the bar and raising the bar, and that's how you progress. That's how you get fitter. That's how you get stronger. Okay. Now the third lesson I want to share with you is, I'm just looking at my notes here, is following the better path. So on the race course, there's about 10 turns on the Most Sport Raceway. So each of these turns can be approached differently, and ideally, the idea is to, not that we're necessarily racing for the fastest possible time, being on the course for the first time, you don't want to kill yourself, but there are better ways to take turns, and there are less effective way to take turns. The idea is that you want to get into a turn and out of a turn in as straight a line as possible. So these are called in racing terms like the lines, right? What's the line that you're taking in and out of the turn? So there are, when you're driving, you have a car in front of you, or if you see cars in front of you turning, what you'll notice is that a lot of them have different lines that they're following. And this is because the instructor beside them is showing them different ways to take the turns. So some cars might come in a little bit steeper, sharper, some might brake a little bit more. And the important thing to realize here is that there are better ways to take a turn. Right? And this is known as following, or I'm calling it following the better path. So I had, for instance, 2 instructors. For the most part of the day, I had one instructor who's a little bit more conservative, who gave me some really good advice. And then one round, I had a little bit more aggressive instructor who was actually a former race car driver who had set several best lap times on this very course. So he told me something a little bit different. It gave me some insight as to taking the turns a little bit more effectively with a little more speed. Around some turns, he said, "Don't worry, trust your car. Your car can handle this. Just give her. Don't worry about slowing down too much." And it was really, really interesting because, again, it goes back to knowing the limits of the car and yourself as a driver. But it also showed me that there are better ways to do things, and not that there's a right or wrong way, but there are better ways to do things. And this comes back to you. In the sense that with workouts, for instance, there are a lot of workout programs on the market. Obviously, I promote some of them, and other ones I will never endorse. And the reason for this is because I believe that there are better ones than others, right? I believe that my workout programs are better than a lot of other workout programs that are available. I also believe that some of the programs I've recommended in the past are better than others, right? And that's why I would recommend something to you, because I believe it is a better option than something else, right? That's really the only reason I would endorse something to you, is because I believe it's going to help you, and it's a better alternative than what you might see on TV or in some magazine, right? That's why I'm here to kind of guide you along the way, to show you the better path. So understand that with workouts, there's no right or wrong answer. If you follow a workout, regardless of what workout it is, you're going to get results as long as you stick to it, okay? And unless the workout is an absolute piece of garbage, it'll most likely get you results. However, there are better workouts than others. There are better ways to take turns than others. And that's what I'm here to provide for you, is better workouts, better solutions, alternatives that are quicker, more efficient, more result producing, and that's what it's all about. Okay, so it's about giving you a better alternative, a better solution to help you get a faster lap time, if you will, in a safer means, right? Just as an example, I'm not going to bash any workout programs, but I'm not going to name any workout programs, but there are workout programs you may have seen on TV that have you working out 6 or 7 times a week for an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now that's physically very, very tough to sustain as a lifestyle. Okay, you can't work out at that intensity for that long forever. That's why a lot of our workouts are about 3 to 4 days a week, 20, 30-minute workouts, a little bit higher intensity, because that is more sustainable, it fits into a lot of our busy schedules, and that's just my approach that has worked for thousands of people. So, so these are 3 of the lessons that I learned while racing my car on Mosport for a day. So it was an awesome event. Let's just recap what these 3 lessons were. Focus on where you want to go, what you want to achieve. Don't worry about what you don't want, okay? Because what you focus on, you will get. It's the law of attraction, pretty much. Know your limits. Test your limits. Know what you're capable of doing. Get out of your comfort zone. You'll be okay. And follow the better path. There are better ways to do things than others. I'm here to help you in terms of showing you some of those solutions and alternatives, and it's up to you then to say, okay, well, this will work for me, or this will not work for me, or this might be a better option than this one. All right, so I hope these lessons have made sense for you, and again, I'd love to hear your feedback. Leave me a comment below if you had a chance to watch the video below it. It's pretty cool if you like racing in cars and stuff. If you don't worry about it. It's just, maybe it's a guy thing, I'm not sure. But anyways, if you're in the States, have a great Memorial Day. If you're not in the States, then just have a great Monday. It's a great way to start the week, and that's why it's Monday. All right, we'll talk to you soon.